When I was working on the Martyrs series, that was around the time when I started graduate school, and when I kind of like redefined myself as an artist. So the idea, I think the idea of the artist as you know, this influential kind of like solitary person it's romantic. It's a romantic idea. And when I went to grad school, that notion got turned around completely. So I started to see myself as a member of a community. And I never thought that that was important to me, but I realized, no, it's actually really important to me. So I did a project while I was in grad school with inhabitants of Nuremberg, my hometown, and I also involved my mom. And so I started to make art in a very different way, almost in a way where I kind of like put myself into the role of a bystander almost. I had an idea, but you know, I threw out the idea and then people picked it up and did something with it. And I think then from that, being in that kind of work mode or thinking mode, came the idea for my recent project A Priori, which started, I think it started in 2012, and I began it after I had a dream about my first boyfriend's mom, so my first boyfriend in Germany, and his mom, I totally remember her. I really liked her, and it was one of those very intense dreams that you wake up from and you remember every second of it. So I felt like I had to contact him, and I found him. The internet is great sometimes. So after I found Peter online, we Skyped, and after about half an hour, he told me that he found out right before his dad died that his grandfather was an admiral under Hitler, which he had known anyway, but that he was also from a Jewish family. And Peter has two passports that belong to his grandfather. One has the J printed in it, and the other is what was called an Aryan passport. So I started thinking about how awful a situation his grandfather was in to work for this man who was killing his people, but also if he had said anything, or if it had been you know, what do you say, like openly known that he was from a Jewish family, his family would have been killed. So I thought about that, and I thought, oh, there must be stories like this in other places. In Germany, I was sure, but also in other places, and that's when I started working on A Priori. And the title A Priori is from Immanuel Kant's definition of a priori judgments, which are synthetic judgments that are based on not on experience. So this idea of a priori does not directly relate to my participant stories, but I'm fascinated with Kant's definition of how we gain knowledge. So a priori, my participants' stories don't have to do with, you know, oh, they somehow knew about their family's history. It's not about that. They might have known, they might have not known, but it's really more about Kant's perception of knowledge and how it comes about, how we understand knowledge and how we perceive knowledge. Yeah, and then I started looking for people who might have similar stories to tell, and most of the people I met for this project, I actually found, through friends. I did have an article in a Jewish paper in Berlin, and several people contacted me after the article came out, but most people I just found through other people, word of mouth.